Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and it's again an honor for me to welcome you here on behalf of the economic development of the city of Frankfurt. So last year I was mostly focusing on fintech and the new recent developments. This year I would concentrate a little bit more on the Brexit issue. And as you can see, we have a wonderful panorama here, but we have also other panoramas. This is the side from our office to the Frankfurt skyline. So, as Richard mentioned, when you will be next week in France, I think in Paris they will be still in a good move because they got the vote for the IBA. So we have quite a couple of supervisory excellence here in Frankfurt, and unfortunately, the EU voted to switch it to Paris. In this way, Madame Hidalgo and Monsieur Macron will gain 200 jobs and about 40,000 hotel accommodations annually. Congratulations. But anyhow, Frankfurt will be still the most important regulation hub in Europe, and we are lucky that we got the single supervisory mechanism in 2014, which counts also for 1,000 jobs and for the systemic banks, which are in this way even more important. So the biggest issues, especially for Frankfurt, are Brexit and his effects. So actually we calculate that there should be a lot of jobs moving to Frankfurt. So between 8,000 and 10,000 at least. These are also official research facts from Helaba Research, and there's quite a common understanding that we say, okay, it will be something around. An additional 2,000 jobs will be created soon in the fintech and regtech subsectors, and both estimates are calculated in a typical German let's say, understatement manner, so it can be even more. Frankfurt still is in the best cost ratio in average and maximum lease prices, as you can see, compared to our competitors. So less a third of London and half of Paris in the price levels. And when we are talking about cost of living, you see that Frankfurt is much more beneficiary, especially if you have a look at what you can pay for a beer after work, which is signed right here. So you see the price. Okay, it's not so clear, but it's €3.50 for a half liter of beer, and so in Paris it's double, and in London it's over €5. And if you manage, despite all the beers, coming home to your apartment that very night, you will sleep even better, because you pay only half of the rent you would pay in London or Paris. That means you can afford much more beer after work, and than in those cozy metropoles. Looking on the right side, you see that Frankfurt is still in a pole position. So we said from the media releases, about 7,000 additional employees are already communicated, which would move to Frankfurt, Dublin 1,500, and Paris around about 1,000, with the 200 of IBA plus, so 1,200. And most market participants say that it's most likely that Frankfurt will keep this leading position. Nevertheless, London will maintain the role of the biggest financial center in Europe, despite these substantial losses in jobs and know-how. Besides Frankfurt, Dublin will profit most, as EY inquiries show. And we expect not only in the established financial industries, but also in the fintech, insurtech, and other startup sectors further moves to Frankfurt. The passporting requirements and a probably more restrictive immigration regime will lead to reduced investments in startups, forcing them to follow their B2B partners to the continent. Last year, the opening ceremony of the Frankfurt startup flagship Tech Quartier was just 2 weeks before the investment briefing. TQ started operations this year in January, running 3,200 square meters. It hosts already 90 startups, 27 cooperatives, around 400 jobs, and 65 plus events. That means every week you have around 5 bigger events happening there. And as you can see, mostly focused on fintech, but other topics like insurtech or also proptech, which is also interesting to you, are managed by several companies. And there are topics, especially like blockchain, cybersecurity, or artificial intelligence, where the startups focus on. And this dynamic performance and a very positive perception from startups and the corporates gives a good perspective for further positive outlook in 2018.